All right, so in this episode of Just French Things, we feature this premium MPV slash minivan that I think will set the market by storm, not because of just its price, but because of its performance, versatility, and comfort inside. What's going on, guys? Leroy here from Zigwheels.Ph, and today we'll be reviewing the Peugeot Traveller Premium. Now, while most vans and MPVs feature a really boxy looking front end, and even the entire contents of the entire body would be all in all a brick on wheels, the Peugeot Traveller gives us a more aggressive, a more appealing look, starting with this front fascia. Now you've got this grille right here. As you can see, the grille doesn't have any holes under it. It's just there for design, but I think it really ties up the front end really well. Now, while most MPVs or vans, those popular models at least, have their engine situated underneath the driver's seat, in this case here, you've got the engine right here under the hood where it is supposed to be located. Now, those headlamps right over there, I think it really looks sexy. They look very sporty. Those are actually xenon headlamps. What are LEDs though are those DRLs. Overall, the front end really features this distinct European feel, which I really love, and is a really nice break from all the other MPVs or vans or even truck-based vans that are, flying down the road these days. Now, if you didn't know, Peugeot Philippines is actually recording a record-setting year, issuing a 300% year-to-date sales record, and it's because of these things right here. The side profile, I don't usually talk a lot about it in cars, especially with vans, and I love this part. That's right, those are power sliding side doors. I say doors because this is not the only door right here. You also have another one on the other side. And if you're out there on a heist maybe, or traveling with your family, or if your family's kind of famous, yeah, this is one of the fanciest features I've ever seen in any van or MPV at this price point. Now, you got 17-inch alloy wheels there as well. Now, I really love how these large windows look. I mean, they're tinted, but you can't absolutely see what's inside. Even if you peek like this, you won't be able to see what's inside, because the Traveller is the type of van where privacy is, of course, paramount, and I love how this looks. You got these optional roof racks up top. Gives you to show you exactly what kind of van this is supposed to be in. Yes, what I don't like though are it doesn't have any grab handles to get in, but that's okay. But let's head over to the back. Now, at the back, there are a lot of sneaky features that I really love with the Peugeot Traveller. I mean, taking a look at it, it doesn't seem like much. You still have this very European soft plastic bumper that we saw in the 2008. You got this optional tow hook and a large wiper. Apart from that, you only got these interesting looking knobs here for tail lamps, but some people might not realize what these are for. If you know, you know definitely, because what these are, these hinges actually signify that it offers much more versatility than it suggests, because if you open the latch right here, there you go. So you actually don't have to open the entire rear door to get your stuff inside. Now, this large rear door, you can definitely open it up traditionally, giving you access to all this space. So usually with vans, they prioritize passenger space over cargo space. In this case, it only has 3 rows, and you have all this space for your stuff. You can fold those seats down for even more space, but it's got one more trick up its sleeve. So while we're at it, let's head on over to the inside to show you what's what and why I think that the Peugeot Traveller is one of the, if not the most versatile van out there right now. All right, so sitting inside the Peugeot Traveller, instantly you'd know this is a European car, because you definitely see what the priorities are between the different continents. I mean, with Americans, they usually have unlimited amounts of cup holders. For the Japanese, it's more driver-centric, where even the touchscreen infotainment system is facing towards the driver. But in this case, this is a no-nonsense European car. We might not have a lot of cup holders, but at least you've got these hidden cubby holes right there up front. You got a double level kind of dashboard, a glove box right there. So one thing that I love about Peugeot is that they definitely give at least a little bit more information for the driver here. Okay, you got this multi-information display right here. It's nice, it's easy to read at night especially. But what really sets it apart is the heads-up display. The heads-up display features this plastic screen that moves up whenever you set it to drive, whenever you start the car, and you can see your speed right there. So while you're driving, you don't have to look down on your gauges to know if you're within the speed limit. Never do that, guys. But hey, you've got your heads-up display so that it's still within your line of sight, safe and sound. The steering wheel is adjustable for both reach and rake, which is perfect, especially for a van of this size. Plus you got the center armrest. These are captain seats. You got captain seats for the front passenger and the driver. They're both power operated, so that's definitely nice. It has memory settings as well as a heated setting. It does have a lumbar support function with a nice surprise, an automatic massage function as well. One odd thing about the Peugeot Traveller though is that the shifter right here isn't your traditional or conventional shifter. It is a rotary dial, and you can set it to P or park, reverse, neutral, and drive easily. Next to it, you've got a manual mode button. So when you're on drive, hit that manual button, and you can use this plastic pedal shifters at the back, which is, unfortunately, it's mounted to the steering column. So if you're turning the steering wheel like so, those pedal shifters will stay in place. You also have this third stalk on the left side for your cruise control, as well as your light control buttons right here on the side. You've got a 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system that blasts tunes to 9 speakers. That touchscreen infotainment system does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is nice. And right below that, you've got your dual zone automatic climate control. You got your 12-volt sockets up front. Right here on the dash, you got another 12-volt socket right there on the lower glove box, another 12-volt socket on the third row, plus an actual 220-volt socket right here underneath. A couple of more features that I love. You got this huge sun visor with a vanity mirror and dual vanity lights. So another thing that you know that this is a family car, you've got this secondary rear view mirror. Yeah, you know what that's for you to tell your kids off whenever they're horsing around. So if they don't stop horsing around, you're going to turn this car around and no Jollibee for everyone. I will never tire of this feature. All right, so yep, you just saw that. It's got power sliding doors on both sides. So here on the second row seats, you've got a lot of space. And when I say a lot of space, I mean a lot. I mean, you've got leg room for days. You got headroom for months. The number of configurations you can set this up with is almost limitless. For example, these seats right here, by the way, nice leather. They're very supportive. So you can actually remove the second row and the third row seats. You'll have some what I call business mode or truck mode, which you can load all your items, all your stuff inside. You can even remove the second row seats and face it backwards, and then you can have a little meeting inside, planning your heist. Even though you don't need any tools to get these seats out, you still need some friends and their help to get them out of the car. So pull the stab in the back and the front, and then get this out right here. Yeah. And there you go. This is what I call wholesome mode. No, this is what I call, oh my goodness. Wow. I can definitely see myself in this one. I like this mode. This is limousine mode. This is bus mode. I think it's time to call some friends and party. Okay, I mean, I don't want to get those seats in here anymore. Let's go. Let's do this. I like it. I like this. And you even have a few more stuff here. You got this nice tray, as if you're traveling or in an airline. I just wish that it had a few more stuff like screens in the back, like a LCD screen for you to watch your SpongeBob. I need my SpongeBob. Just kidding.
A few moments later.
Here's the big test. Let's go ahead and check out the third row seats and see if I fit in there. I'm thinking that I might, considering that this is a large van with only 3 rows, but we'll see about that. So to get to the third row from either side, sorry I'm shouting because you can definitely hear the diesel clatter from the outside. All you gotta do is slide the second row seats forward, tilt this forward, and you got this little space to go in the back. So let's try that out. All right. So we slide these seats forward by lifting this red tag. There we go, giving the second row passengers some space. That's a lot of space, I'd say. And okay, here's what I gotta say. This is definitely the roomiest third row seat that I've ever been in. It doesn't look like it was an afterthought at all. You got a lot of space for your legs, still a lot of headroom. And yes, even this AC right here, you got AC vents all the way to the third row. A few of the saving graces right here, of course, is that nice panoramic sunroof up top. I mean, I've never been in a van like this with a large panoramic sunroof like this. It's split in the middle, so it gives you this multi-angle lighting inside. It doesn't open up, don't get me wrong, it doesn't open up, but at least it gets a lot of light inside. Plus, if it gets too bright, you can use these what I call peasant shades. So if you want to keep the outside world outside and keep their prying eyes from getting to see the inside, yep, you can pull that right up, no problem. So you don't have any sunshades here in the back, but that's fine. And these seats, by the way, these slide forward and back as well, right here. Beautiful. We got Isofix anchors everywhere, so if you plan to take the kids out and bring their friends along and they need booster seats, yep, this will definitely work. All right, so yeah, that's everything I can say about the interior. It's I love it. I mean, even if I were to sit in the third row and driving far away, yeah, I would actually prefer to be here because of how isolated it is and dark and cool, except for the cable thing. Let's start driving this out, taking it for a spin. All right, so we are off in the Peugeot Traveller Premium. All right, this one has a unibody design, more like a crossover, really more like an MPV, but with the proportions, the power, and the space of a conventional van. Under that hood, you've got a 2-liter turbo diesel engine that makes 150 horsepower and 340 Newton meters of torque. You might be telling me, hey Roy, that's not enough power to go to Baguio with 8 people and all their cargo in it. And the thing I gotta say about that is you don't know what you're talking about. That much power is actually just right for something of this size without having to go over the speed limit. Plus, at this kind of segment, you don't need horsepower. What you need is torque, and 340 is a lot. Plus, it's got an 8-speed automatic transmission with manual mode. These pattern shifters right here, they're not just for show, guys. Putting this thing into manual mode actually keeps that revs, and it won't shift up, as you can hear, until you tell it to do so. It really drives like a manual, and you can actually keep it that way if you're wanting to roll through your own gears. It's not going to shift up or shift down at all. The computer gives you all the freedom that you want, and I think we can notch that up as another French thing. All right, so suspension, you've got McPherson struts up front and a torsion bar suspension in the back. That setup allows the car to have more space than the rest of the vans out there, because without a live rear axle, it actually affords you to have that flat floor. Remember that we set up all those configurations in the back? That's because of the unibody design. Steering is definitely on the, well, it's not heavy at all, especially when you're considering that you're bringing a truck. But at the same time, it's not the most responsive, it's not the most agile, but it's more agile than, again, the rest of the trucks out there. Unlike its competition, this is a front-wheel drive vehicle, meaning if you want to drive aggressively around a corners like this, you will feel a lot of body roll and understeer. So yeah, just keep your expectations in check. The ride is smooth. NVH levels are kept at a minimum. You can barely hear the outside. The fact that this is a diesel engine and you can't hear the engine from the inside, unless of course you're revving it high, is a good sign that you do have great NVH levels of this one. Great sound insulation. Fuel economy is great. I mean, it's a diesel engine after all, so you actually have great fuel economy when you're idling or in low revs, and that's great with traffic. So in the city, I was able to get 10 to 11 kilometers per liter on this one. But out on the highway, oh boy, 16, 17 kilometers per liter in the highway, and that's perfectly great. And of course, filling this up with diesel is great because I was able to use my Shell Go Plus app. It's a really convenient way to fill up your Peugeot Traveller, because you can use it not just to earn points, but you can actually use those points to fill up your vehicle. Safety features include 4 airbags, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. You also have ABS with electronic brake force distribution. You've got hill hold assist. You even have a tire pressure monitoring system, electronic stability control. You also have blind spot monitoring systems right there, and proximity sensors all around, because this definitely is a big van. If you're looking for a daily driver, this might not be the best one if you don't plan to bring passengers with you every day, because it's huge. I gotta tell you, bringing this around the city, it's definitely really large. But I'm glad that the proximity sensors are all around to make sure that you're safe and secure. It also has a what you call Visual Park 1. It's Peugeot's special kind of safety feature where you actually have this backup camera and a 180-degree camera for the back. I wish it had more safety features like adaptive cruise control, but no, you only have the regular cruise control right here. And that's basically everything that you need to know about this. Pricing for the Peugeot Traveller, it starts at 3,150,000 pesos. There's an option for an 8-seater with more kits and a captain seats. You've got that for 3,260,000 pesos. So at that price point, yeah, it might get a little bit too pricey because it's already breached the 2 million mark, even the 3 million mark. But again, you have to consider what this is up against. It's not your regular type of van. If you're thinking UV Express, nope, this is not your regular van. I'm saying that because you got 3 row seats instead of 4. They maximized everything they could right here. The comfort level is superb. You're definitely getting your money's worth. That's what I'm trying to say. And if you find that too expensive, you're really not in the market for these types of things, because when you consider that most top-of-the-line traditional vans are almost at that price range, it starts to make sense. Why try to buy a top-of-the-line Japanese or American minivan when Europe's right here calling? So that's it for our review of the Peugeot Traveller Premium. Now, before I give you my final thoughts about this premium minivan slash MPV, here are 3 things that I don't like and 3 things that I love about this car. First thing I don't like about this MPV is, of course, at this price point, I was wishing for even more advanced safety features like lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, even a 360-degree camera. But again, that's me nitpicking, but I just wish it was there. It's nice to have. Now, the second thing I don't like about the Peugeot Traveller is the lack of interior amenities and niceties such as a power liftgate. I wish it had even more speakers than the 9 that it already has, a more advanced touchscreen infotainment system. Again, that's me nitpicking this thing, but those things, especially if you add like an LCD monitor inside, those things are definitely gonna keep the kids distracted, like me. Whenever you're traveling long distances, you gotta have my SpongeBob SquarePants. And the last thing that I don't like about the Peugeot Traveller is exactly how huge this thing is. I mean, yes, this is definitely a segment where people are looking for space for large cars such as this thing, but if you want to daily this car, you might probably be better off somewhere else. But with how it drives, it just gives you this feeling that you're driving a truck around, despite the fact that it is a unibody MPV. But yeah, it's really so big. Now we got those things out of the way, here are the 3 things that I absolutely love about the Peugeot Traveller. Now, despite its size, this particular minivan doesn't really look the part. I mean, because of those sweeping lines, especially in this front end, it gives you that athletic appeal that some guys would like to compromise, especially when they're buying a family car. Sure, you're buying an 8-seater car, but you don't have to look boring while driving it. The second thing I love about the Peugeot Traveller is, of course, the interior seats. It might be a little bit lacking with some advanced features, but with the basics, it's awesome. Those captain front seats, the seats that you can actually remove in the back, the versatility is just almost limitless. Plus that rear window that you can lift up independently of the hatch, those small convenience features really make a huge difference. And finally, it's the engine. Now, at first, to be honest, I wasn't really overwhelmed by the figures that came out of this car. I mean, 2-liter turbo diesel, 150 horses, and 340 Nm of torque. That doesn't seem like much. But again, if you're looking for speed, this is not the right segment. But for torque, especially with the 8-speed automatic transmission, it's just perfect. Especially when you're bringing a lot of people and their cargo up to Baguio, this thing really shines, especially during those long trips. Plus, how smoothly it drives for a diesel, at least on the inside, it's phenomenal. And that's our review of the Peugeot Traveller. What do you think? Drop me a comment in the comment section down below, and while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos. I really enjoyed myself trying the Peugeot Traveller, and I look forward to another episode of Just French Things. This is Leroy Robles from Zigwheels.Ph, and I'll see you guys next time.